Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Between the Horns. Your host, Mr. Aaron Horn. Wow, we're here to talk about Between the Horns. I've been doing some thinking. Some of y'all mention I use my hands a lot. That's a truth. That is a truth. So I try to hold them sometimes, but I've been doing some thinking about this thing called thinking. Thoughts. And I haven't only been doing thinking, I've also been doing a fair amount of what I call educating myself. There's a couple authors, people, I find a lot of them that good authors that I choose to read. I find their YouTube channels. Example would be Dr. Huberman. He's a neuroscientist. I like his approach. Dr. Jordan Peterson, I can learn a lot just by observing, being aware, watching those, and checking my own thoughts against some of those ideas. And they're not the only two. I have some others, but I guess this thing called thinking and thought, and what really goes on with that, because I'm an overthinker. That's a fact. Now, I've tried before to explain the overthinking, but it's kind of hard. It's a lot like a movie on fast forward to me. A racetrack, I've talked about this before, the racetrack of the mind, the ruminating. I'm not just talking about thoughts. I'm talking about a little more than that. But I want to keep coming back to this thinking, overthinking, because that's where I have spent a lot of my time. It's maybe a trauma response from early in my life, a place of survival for me where I had to be thinking always ahead. I could give you so many examples. I'll give you one. Mom and Dad, where they were in a fight. It's a Sunday morning. We're heading to church. Dad didn't go to church very often with us. In this particular span of time, he wasn't going with us. And it was a contentious point. Well, on top of that, Dad had a TV in the house. And so, which at the time was part of the church we were part of, that was a no-no. And so Mom and him would go rounds about it, and she would get mad because he was being lazy. And you know, I'm not justifying either role here. I'm simply saying this is my experience. So, but as we were leaving to go to church, my mom said to my dad, this is such a vivid memory inside of me. I can even still remember the smell of the fire burning. But let me explain. Mom is walking out the door. My mom said something to the effect of, could you at least empty the garbage before we get home? And so we go off to church, and as we're coming home, being the overthinking mind, always having to think ahead, I had already established, I remember at some point on the way home, maybe even before, maybe it was on the way to church, I don't remember, but I remember having continuous thought up until we got home that I needed to prepare to, as soon as we pulled in, and our house set like this, and so the front was here and the back was here, and our garbage can, our burn barrels were here out by the road, and we always parked kind of here somewhere, I guess it was. Well, I had decided already, as soon as we pulled in, I would run to the back door, because that's where the garbage can was at, and I would grab the garbage, because I knew my dad wouldn't do it, for whatever reason. I already knew, and it wasn't done, and I grabbed it and ran it out to the garbage barrel, the burn barrel, and I threw it in really fast, as my mom and sister, I imagine, were walking in the front door. And my whole thought is that if we came home and the garbage wasn't done, that all hell would break loose for the day. Because Mom would say something to Dad, Dad would say something back, then it would turn into an argument, and it was par for the course. So that overthinking was necessary. That's one example. There's thousands, yea, hundreds of thousands of those examples of times when I had to be thinking ahead. Now, it served me, okay? It served me. This is what I'm learning. It served me, but it doesn't always still serve me well. Key point. I hope it explains itself. It doesn't serve me currently well. Okay, even when I have to get to that place with situations, which I still can revert back there. I'm learning how not to live there, but I can revert back there. When I do, I find that it's a very, very uncomfortable place, but necessary at times. I won't go into that. Let's say it's an emergency situation or something that's going on that I feel a need to, with haste, for life or limb, for others or for myself, that I have to go into that place. Well, I can still do it, and I'm really good at it. We could talk about that all day. I'd love to, actually, but I don't want to get too far off track. Only to say that I'm really good at compartmentalizing because of that, which again doesn't serve me all that well all the time. It does serve me in the fact that I learned how to set boundaries. That's one thing I used to be really good at, is setting boundaries. I just didn't know it, and I didn't set the right ones. What I was doing was building certain walls around certain things so that I could keep track of all the chaos. Certain pieces of chaos were compartmentalized out. And so then I would, wherever I needed to be to survive, I could do it. I could turn whole entire emergencies off, so to speak, to deal with whatever was at hand and the biggest issue at hand. So that's it. There's a lot in there. I could unpack so much in there between the horns. Whew. I appreciate y'all's patience, and I'm not out here trying to win any fame, fortune, or notoriety. I just come out here and I do this because I'm learning. This is a way for me to heal, is talk this stuff through and put it out into the airwaves and get bounced back from you guys. And it's a problem when you can overthink too much. Maybe everybody does it. You know, at certain levels, I'm certain that everybody does it. I don't know that everybody does it all the time, and for me, that was the case for a large portion of my life. And over the last, you could say, the last 6 years, I've been learning a different way. And that's what I'm out here to share, is this different way. And it's to bring forth light. It's to bring light to these subjects, because I know there's some of you that struggle with overthinking. We've talked about it. Person just recently told me it was like the hamster wheel of their mind, and so I know that other people struggle with overthinking. I don't know to what extent everyone struggles with overthinking. That part I don't know, but I know it's a big enough deal that we have books and whole entire, you could say, spiritual practices, whole entire religions based on the now, getting back to the now, getting out of the head, being in a place of consciousness. And I talk to so many people, I really do, that think they're getting there, and it's sometimes it's painful to me, because to keep my mouth shut, that's the biggest piece, is because you can't force anybody closer to the now. It's within them. And so even opening up and saying, hey, I don't, I would challenge some of this thinking, because just being in certain practices, whether it be mental, and I say this to myself, whatever I come up with in my life that works, it's not that alone that gets you to the now. There's a bigger piece, there's a bigger element. And ignorance, not stupidity, ignorance drives that. And so I'm only speaking from personal experience. Do I think I've reached some plateau? Absolutely not. If you understand the now, you understand you're not there. You're not getting there. Matter of fact, the more you know about it, the more painful it is. Sorry to tell you that. When you think you've mastered the now, you have absolutely went the other way. I mean, you have absolutely went the other way. You've missed the point. You missed the boat. You're on the other ship, the another ship somewhere, and I'm there at times. I have to check myself sometimes. Say what boat am I floating on here? Because and I have to back up and deal with that, for God's sakes. Goodness gracious. It's nothing that any of us capture. It's nothing that any of us master. It's nothing that any of us do better than anybody else, short of practice. There's the keyest point of all. I mean, that is practice. Not what we say, but can we really practice it? The person who spends the most time mastering being here and now is just simply the person that knows how to get away from that. They don't play that game. They're not fighting the now. They're not fighting both of them. All they've done is, I don't know, I'm saying it all wonky willy here, but we try to get it maybe in a better way, but it's practice. I mean, that's all I can say is it's practice. It's constantly living in that place of awareness, and it's of just allowing the now. Awareness of now. Practicing awareness of now. Practicing awareness of now. It's hundreds of times of going back and practicing. That's what now is. And nobody can tell you how to do it. Nobody can coach you in it. You think they can. They get you all, they tell you how to do all this stuff. But the bottom line is it has to happen inside of you. And I can't say that any clearer. It has to happen inside of you. All of this, the growth, the getting out of your head and not ruminating in a place of what happened before or what's getting ready to happen, but rather what's under my foot, what's the thing that's happening in the current moment. I can tell you right now, there's a cool breeze coming from this way. There's a warm sun coming from this way. Kind of conflicting because they're kind of close. But I can tell you both of those things bring me to the now. I'm here with y'all. My dogs. This place. I can smell the mud coming through where the snow's been scraped off by the snow plows. I can see the softness, the pillowiness of the meadows as the snow just blankets it. But then there's sagebrush popping up through, and that knowing the anticipation of knowing that down the road, that there's gonna, down the road in time, a few weeks, months, that sage is gonna start blooming, and that smell, I can smell it now. It's a remembrance. I grew up by the sagebrush, and I'm here. I'm not trying to figure out how to pay my bills. I'm not trying to figure out what's wrong with me. I'm not trying to prepare myself to perform in front of people and be somebody I'm not. I'm not spinning the wheels trying to figure out what to say. All that I just said, there was no thought that went into that. I simply explained the now to you. I'm here. I'm now. It has taken, I said 6 years of this, but really 5 solid years, 5 and some change, a little over 5 years since I really started getting into the place where I would learn how to disconnect the other stuff and be in the now. Detach, if you will. I love the word detach and I hate the word detach. It's a necessary part to be in the now. I just had a sound of a vehicle coming up the road, and I want to make this video perfect for y'all. And I don't want the noise of the vehicle. I don't want somebody stopping and talking to me while I'm on the now. See, now I'm in my thinking. Now I'm not in the now. I'm already anticipating what's going to happen because I want this to be perfect. So I've switched out of the now for a second. Okay, but I'm going to do my best. You guys are going to see me practice it. As this vehicle comes up the road right by us here, whatever happens, happens, because I'm in the now. I can feel that breeze. I can see that warm sun coming at me. I can not only see it in my peripheral, but I can feel that, just that warmth coming down. I can still see those sagebrush poking through the pillows of all that. But yet being in the now, right now, as we sat here, it's experiencing it as it is, not having to make it perfect. Now, y'all just experienced it. I didn't plan that out. I couldn't have planned that out. I guess I could have. I don't know who that guy is or where he lives, but I guess I could have found him and planned that out. I didn't. But that just happened. That's the example of being in my head or being in the now. I love it. Didn't plan it. It happened. I feel this burning on me right now. I just really do, because I feel it burning on me because there's one person. This isn't scripted. I didn't plan this. But there's one person out there right now that I know, for a matter of fact, is going to watch this video. I know them. I know that that person lives in a place of hell, a place of torture, a place of misery, a distress, because of overthinking, because of the racetrack of the mind, because of the hamster wheel of the mind, because I've talked to this person about it. And the overwhelming burning inside of me right now is, and I'm speaking to this one person. You know who you are. I want to offer you compassion in there today. All I'm doing is telling you what happens inside of me. But I'm talking to you. You know who you are. We have blood that courses through our veins that came from the same place. And I guess that's why I'm a little tore up about it. That's why it's been burning on me for a little bit. Is I want to offer hope. I want to be out here. I want to offer you compassion today. Inside of yourself. As your mind spins and you can't slow it down and it's blowing you, it's just killing you inside. I know it is. We talked about it. I see you today. Don't forget our conversation. It left a spot in my heart, and I care about you. And I want to offer you some compassion in there today and say that I'm not going to tell you it's going to be all right. I can't. But there is hope. Each time that I take a breath, take a step back, gain perspective. That's a Jocko Will. You guys know who he is, Jocko. That's one of his sayings. Take a step back, gain perspective. Something to those effects. And you go watch his videos. There's a powerful one about perspective. And I think I posted it. I hope I did. And if I did, I will on Between the Horns. I'll post that. But I care a lot about this. I do. That one conversation with that person in my life left an indelible impression on me. She left a burning. I still remember where I was sitting when we had that conversation. I can remember the temperature. I can remember even what I was going through, because I was going through a lot at the time. But as we shared, it was obvious to me that this person was in a place of distress, hell. Taking a step back, gaining perspective, taking a breath, and then moving forward. On muscle memory. That's a whole other subject, muscle memory. So that's that practice piece. And then moving from muscle memory back into that place of now. back where I'm here, where this is it. You don't have to fix that already. Future. I don't have to fix that back there. The past. Don't. I'm good enough right here. If I just keep moving forward doing Aaron, being enough. Not just enough, but enough. You realize that enough can be a lot. If I have enough water to fill the ocean, that's a lot of water. Not just enough water to fill the ocean. You see, there's a difference. There's a lot of gallons in between just enough and enough. I'm not just enough. I'm not going forward because I'm just barely pulling through. No. My shoulders are back, see? I'm just doing now. I've conquered now. Come at me. Come at me. Come at me with anything else, because what's right here, right now? That's it. I can do now. I can do now over and over and over again, millions and millions of times over if I just do now. I'm good enough. I'm powerful enough. And damn it, I think I'm an amazing man. Let's talk about this some more. Between the Horns with your host, Mr. Aaron Horn. I love you guys. Something like this, I don't know. I think we deserve this today. Compassion. Be easy on yourselves. You don't get anywhere beating yourself up, I promise you that.